Hey guys, Justin Ochoa, Pace Fitness Academy, back with another episode of the Basketball Breakdown. Take a look at today's video and let us know what you think. All right guys, today we're going to look at Zion guarding LeBron in a one-on-one situation, and we're going to talk about lateral movement. In this particular example, Zion is definitely, I would say, limited in his lateral movement. So I'm going to play it in real time. I want you guys to focus on his right leg, which again, we know is not 100%. We know he had surgery on it. I'm not picking on him from an injury perspective. I just think this particular play gives you a good example of the importance of lateral movement. So here's real time, and then we'll talk about it.
You might anticipate the Lakers without Anthony Davis in the help position would give up more paint points tonight, obviously.
James going at Zion, and LeBron wins that one.
But let's just watch LeBron. I mean, you know in Gladiator, where that guy says, "Not yet."
Okay, so we'll run it back from the top. First thing is, this is not a great transition D. Nobody's stopping ball, but we're looking at Zion's right leg. And to me, I'm looking at a guy that doesn't want to put force into that right leg if he doesn't have to. So the first example is, watch this step back with his right leg and watch how fast he gets off of it, because I don't think he wants to be on it if he doesn't have to. There, so he pops off of that pretty quickly. The next thing I want to look at is how he doesn't really plant on the right leg. He kind of drags it. So you can kind of see it here, but I want to show you this view here. Okay, so watch how he drags the leg, his right leg. Drag. There you go. So he's just kind of dragging that leg across the floor. He's using his left leg to control all the movement. And this, to me, not even trying to be funny, it kind of looks like, if you've ever seen a puppy with a broken leg, how they just kind of drag that along. They use the other three. That's what it looks like. And so, again, I don't want to talk about his injury. I want to talk about lateral movement, because he moves laterally in both directions, meaning he has a sequence here where he's going to go right to left, and then he has a sequence where he goes left to right, and you can see a clear difference. So what we'll look at here is the basics of a shuffle or a slide. If you're a basketball player, this is an essential movement to your sport, but it's also important in many sports as well. But I got his right leg circled. That's going to be his planted leg. That means if I'm trying to move to my left, I have to use my right leg to put force into the ground that will propel me to the left. Okay? So if we look at, again, where his right leg is, I'm going to circle it. In a perfect world, he's going to push himself to the left. He will travel left. So we're going to put a little line where his foot is currently. This is his starting position. So if we compare start to finish, he should be moved to the left, right? But you see the foot just drops. So he makes no advancement. He doesn't cover any ground. He pushes his right foot into the ground, and I'm assuming that doesn't feel great. So he goes nowhere. The left foot is here, and it remains there. So now we have a guy who's taken 2 steps and gone 0 inches laterally. So not great. The side, I guess the flip side of that is that he still moves to the left eventually, but how it gets there is with his left leg. So he takes his left leg and he's going to pull himself to the left. So he's going to put force into the ground with his left leg, and then he pulls his body, as you can see that, We know it didn't come from the right because we measured where he was. Now his left hits the ground and he pulls that right there. You can see it. And again, you see that leg dragging, the right leg. It's not even on the ground. It's just kind of, it's like his ankle's on the ground. And he just pulls himself to the left. Okay? So that's a good example of, I guess, I don't want to call it bad because he's Zion. He's so good that he gets away with it. He still kind of contested the shot. I mean, he gave up a bucket, but at the end of the day, somehow he's such a great athlete that he figured it out. But it's not optimal. You're putting a lot of stress on that left leg because it's doing double work. There's a better way, I would say. So if we go back and we look at his left leg, now he's going to flip it. So he opens his hip. LeBron, as a ball handler, he attacks the top leg, which is going to cause Zion to open the hips, which is perfectly fine. We call that a hip flip or a hip shift, to where you're going to open and you do what's called a plyo step, which is what he should have done on the right side, he's going to do on the left. So now we have his left leg is on the ground, okay? He's going to push himself with his left leg now to the right, which is what we wanted to see on the other side, but you can see the clear difference of force production. Look at that, pretty close to triple extension on that left leg. He covers ground on the right leg, so his leg is here, basically hovering over that curved line that makes the top of the key, and then he explodes out, pushes himself forward, and covers ground. So now he's going into what's called a crossover step. So hip shift, plant the foot, press yourself right, ground contact with the right. He's going into a crossover step here, which means he wants to get from a shuffle to a sprint to recover on the play. So he gets a pretty good push there, but then watch what happens when he knows he has to plant hard on this right leg. That the right leg is going to be coming through and it just dies. So again, it's one of those things where I've never really seen anyone do this, and then he finishes the play and you can tell he just kind of just gingerly uses that right leg, minimally uses it, and I've never seen anything like it. Again, he contested the shot decently. At the NBA level, that's always going to be a bucket, but high school and college, that might be a miss.
So as you can see today, we really focused on the importance of lateral movement, and especially as it pertains to playing defense. Now, I do want to say the best way to improve your defense is to practice defense. Just like any sports skill, you need to practice it to enhance it, whether it be team concepts or individual tactical skills. This is going to be your most effective way for actually improving your defense. Well, I'll say that you can improve some of the qualities that will transfer to becoming a better defender. We're looking at lateral strength and stability, power and speed. So here are some basic exercises that can lay the foundation in the weight room that you can then transfer to the court. First, we're looking at a side lunge. Next, a reactive skater bound. And then finally, a Copenhagen plank. As you start to progress these, you'll then be able to move on to more advanced or difficult variations, and then hopefully transfer those to the court so you can ultimately perform at a higher level. So I hope you guys enjoyed this week's breakdown. Shoot me a DM or a comment, let us know what you think, and we'll see you next week.